Hello and welcome to Hops and Bros. This week,
we're talking DDH, or what the hell is DDH?
Double dry hop. It's pretty simple.
You killed it now.
For an open window on a craft beer world, Max and Chris from Ups and Brews. Ups and Brews. Welcome to Ups and Brews.
Alright, so this week we're going to be talking about DDH, which is double dry hop, which is a fancy term of saying an overly hoppy beer. Now, Chris, you're opening a beer right now. What is this beer?
And main reason why I'm opening this, I brought this back from Florida, and it's the main inspiration behind this Craft Beer 101. And the reason why is because, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the name of the beer is Hard Up Life DDH Double India Pale Ale. And to get you guys in context, this is a collaboration between G. Wakefield Brewing Company out there in Miami with Other Half Brewing in New York. But what the hell is DDH and where does it come from? So if
first off, this is not civil society?
No. I know.
Did you not get any civil society while you were gone?
Oh, I did. I got
Okay. Just making sure there, Chris.
I'm pretty sad I wasn't able to update my current cap. I got a new sweater, which it's my girlfriend that she's wearing it most of the time, which I'm totally fine with it because she looks gorgeous in it. But I bought a 4-pack of mix between Ninja Pale Ale and an Hefeweizen, which is brewed in collaboration with our good friends at Collective Arts here in Toronto. Hamilton, sorry. Sorry. It's two things.
It's really not Toronto. It's very much Hamilton. Now, fun thing about Hamilton is that for a while it was, a steel city. It was very steelwork, very like blue collar work. Now we've seen kind of a switch in Hamilton where it goes a lot more artsy. A lot of artists come out of Hamilton. I mean, one of our favorite bands, me and you, Will Scarlet, Hamilton, right? And also, just
Mississauga.
in general,
Mississauga.
Oh, Mississauga. Fuck, I messed it up. Sorry. Anyways, there's a lot of great other bands that come from Hamilton, but there's also a lot of breweries that started spawning in Hamilton, and the community is really supporting those breweries. They're very much for the arts and for the just the craft of the beer, of the craft beer.
So if we can segue into Craft Beer 101 with that. If you're familiar with the episode we did on lupulin powder and then the episode we did on dry hopping, have we? We did.
Dry hopping?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so this is going to be fun. I don't think we did. You think we did. Please let us know in the comments below which of us two is right. And we will have bragging rights whether we did or we didn't.
And you guys win a free high five if you get the answer.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
If you can see us, free high five. Free high five. All right.
So basically, if you haven't watched those episodes, go watch it because it's mainly what brought us DDH to this date. So back in 2016, YCH Ops out there in Yakima Valley. I think it's in, I forgot where it is. It's in Yakima Valley. Let's just put it that way.
Just leave it there. They don't need to know.
Yeah, they don't need to know. The link is going to be down there if you want to check it out. It's a pretty neat website, and they're really good hop growers. But they invented, or let's say they kind of like vetted the thing. Pioneered the cryo ops and lupulin powder at the same time. So all that kind of like new technology with ops came in the industry, and those big IPA brewers out there in New York City, but also Grim Brewers are pioneers in those styles. There's also Aslan Beer Company, and we started seeing a lot more of it here in Canada too. It's a completely different technique. It's pushing the IPA to a whole other level again, and the main reason of all this, it's the new hype for AZ IPAs. So we did an episode on AZ. We talked about it and how the dry hopping can affect the aziness of the beer. Then this is where double dry hop kicks in. It will sharpen the flavors, sharpen the aromas, push it to another totally level without affecting, let's say, your nice base beer. So it's a really good technique to get to know a hop. Let's say you do a single double dry hop mosaic, then you'll probably get what's the most essential in mosaic. But I don't know how it works. I don't know what's the science behind it. I don't know how brewers do it, but Max has the answer for that.
All right, so there's a couple of ways that you want to use your hops when it comes to brewing. The first one is to add it immediately when you start boiling, or even pre-boil, and that will isomerize a lot of the alpha acids to create a lot of bitterness in your beer. Second part where you want to use your hops is towards the end, towards the whirlpool, and that's going to add a lot more flavors of the hop and a lot less isomerization of your alpha acids, so less bitterness and more flavor. The third way of using it is to actually throwing it into your fermenter as it's fermenting. Now, double dry hop just means that you're dry hopping it twice, or you're using double the amount, or whatever you want to say. So the way you would do that is you would actually wait for your fermentation to be at a point where it's still active. So any kind of infection or other kind of yeast that your hops could have, not yeast necessarily, but bacteria and just kind of out there bacteria will be killed off, or at least suppressed by the yeast because it's still active. And it's also going to change those essential oils that are in those hops to try to and accentuate the flavors that are already there. And double dry hop will double that amount, essentially.
So let's say I'm brewing an IPA and I double dry hop it. Could I start off with a beer without boil? And like you do your boil, but you don't add like any layers of hops. And only
definitely
focus on double dry hopping after.
A lot of people have started doing that. It is risky, and well, not risky. It's just it's kind of an odd way because beer is 4 ingredients. You know, it's water, malts, hops, and yeast. And if you're not adding any hops into your boil, you're essentially not adding any isomerized alpha acids into your beer, which means that lactobacillus and other bacteria would have a better chance of actually attacking that beer and infecting it. So you could get an infection or inoculated, and it's going to start being sour. If you dry hop it, you're actually promoting other essential oils or other I forget the word, which is kind of embarrassing. But anyways, instead of isomerization of your alpha acids, you're going to your cohumulone and you're activating that a little more. So you're still going to have some IBUs that are going to suppress those bacteria, but not quite as much as if you actually boiled it. But you're getting a lot more of those essential oils active, a lot more aromas, a lot more flavors, and virtually zero bitterness in your beer. Well, that's why double dry hop is really popular, especially these days, and especially with New England style IPAs, because it's all about the flavor and not quite about the bitterness.
And it's impressive how much of the hops you get with double dry hop. It really kicks in. Some of those double dry hop beers, there's a little bit of hops left in the beer. If you pour it like really aggressively or the whole bottle, you end up with some green little nibs in your beer. I think
it's a lot of hops, just in general. Like when you're talking about those amounts, because you still want some IBUs in your beer, you're going to dry hop it a lot, and it's going to take a lot of room in your fermenter as well. So it's kind of hard to filter all that out. The best way would be to use a centrifuge. So you basically spin the beer real fast, and it's going to extract all the liquid from the solids. So you don't lose as much liquid in that kind of process.
Which is totally crazy. I did some research, and it's my little last bit about it. Some of the double dry hop recipes out there are counting as much as 9 pounds per barrels of hops.
That's a lot.
In double dry hopping.
That's a crazy amount.
And now that everyone's pushing it, we're talking about triple dry hopping and quad dry hopping.
And the problem with that is that people expect to have their beers still be at a cheaper price range, but hops are expensive. The more hops you add in the beer, and the more hops you add at that point in the beer, because you're not extracting a lot, you're extracting some flavor, a lot of flavor, and a lot of aromas, but not quite as much usefulness as if you put it in your boil. So you kind of have to like weigh, like, is it feasible to have a beer that's $10 a can versus $3 depending on how you use your hops, and in some cases it is. Some double dry hopped beers are awesome and they're worth being a little more expensive, but the public might not be receptive to that. They might want the cheaper stuff instead. So you kind of have to check it out.
Yeah.
Another thing I love about double dry hop is the acronym DDH, especially when you have a double dry hop, double IPA. So DDH DIPA, which I had to sell at Liquid Arts Fest last year, which was pretty cool. But a lot of people were like, what is this? And it's like, yeah, it's a long ass acronym. It just means that it's a beer that's uber hoppy. It's the hoppiest beer you'll have at this point.
It's kind of crazy at that point. I gotta agree with that. It's a lot of D's in one beer. It doesn't sound as good as in my mind.
All right, so are we good for the ending?
I'm good for the ending, Max. That's
all right. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe, share. And let us know, first off, who was right? Do we have a dry hop episode of Craft Beer 101? I think not. Chris thinks yes. We'll see. We'll let you guys tell us. We won't look. Chris, we won't look before.
We won't.
Also, let us know what you would like to see in the next Craft Beer 101. We're always looking forward to new subjects and new things that you guys are interested in.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, perfect.
Oh.